Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? I have done this video twice. I forgot to press record. Let's see if we can get it right this time. Let's not talk about it. Let's do it. So I have at least had a bit of practice. So I should get it right this time. And I'm going to mark the top there, and I'm going to mark the bottom down there, just checking in the camera. And I'm going to mark our line halfway. And so basically what we have is a line down the middle, and if you can imagine, this is a cylinder and it's kind of spinning all the way around this central axis. So at the top we're going to want to have a little ellipse like that, which is going to be the opening of the glass at the top, and this is going to be the bottom of the glass. So we're going to want a bowl, it's kind of a teardrop kind of shape, and this is going to come in and then flute up to the top like that. So that is going to be our glass. And then we want to have this kind of assembly down below and another little bit underneath it like that. And then also we're going to have just slightly to one side an ellipse like that, which is the little handle, little knob that you'd sort of turn the wick up in. So the wick is inside the glass, and it's kind of a bit of sort of woven stuff, isn't it? And then there'll be a flame. And then down below here we've got an extra little sort of bit there. And then we can start building the oil tank underneath. So it's going to be this sort of curve. It's almost, yeah, so it's an ellipse kind of shape. Or look, it's like a American football. That's exactly what it is. And then two lines down like that, and then we'll copy that curve underneath it, and that will give us the oil tank. And then we're going to do a couple of more of these sort of American football things like that, or a rugby ball. I think American footballs are just that little bit more pointed than rugby balls, I think. There we go. And then here we want another ellipse, which is kind of, that's the line of angle that we want, and that's going to be the oil can filling cap, filler cap. And then underneath we want a pedestal coming down there, so this actually wants to be sort of following a bit more over that way, I think, like that. And then we're going to do a similar kind of thing with American football. Doesn't need to be quite so big, that kind of football shape like that, and then wants to come down that little bit, and then that will be the base there. So this is coming in, and again we can have a couple more here, which is kind of like a pattern, bit of decoration. I'm doing this drawing for one of my patrons, and if you come and join me on Patreon, you'll be able to see how I paint it and get a help sheet too. Now let's ink this in, and I'm going to start around about here, and I'm going to come around the top and down, and then I would normally want to spin the paper around here, but I've got it stuck to the to the board for the camera so that it stays in the same place so that you can see what I'm doing. And so I'm going to carefully go around like that, and that's the glass. And then we're going to draw inside there, that's kind of the opening, and I'm just going to put little dots around the top, and then a bit around there and a bit around there, maybe dots in the middle. So that's the thickness of the glass and the opening at the top. Now here I'm going to draw just a little kind of curve down like that, and something going on at the bottom. It's all going to be a bit misty and dark, you can't quite see what's happening. And then we're going to come back around on ourselves like that, and then the wick will sort of come in there like that. Maybe you can put some dots in there to give it a bit of texture, because it's a kind of a woven cotton kind of thing, isn't it? And then we can have the flame going up like that. Now I think it's probably best to do this little sort of knob thing on the side, give it a bit of a knurl, just the grippy bit on the side, so that you can turn the wick up, and then maybe there's a bit of a thing like that. And then we'll take that around in a curve, that wants to come down. And here we want to put a sort of a curved row of dots And these are perforations in the brass that allow the air to come in and sort of have a free flow of air going in there. And I'm going to do that little kind of curve, and then this is going to sort of come down like that. And now we're going to draw this ellipse like that. I'm going to leave a little bit there because there might be a bit of kind of reflection in there, so we're kind of thinking ahead. Let's do the oil can, the filler cap, that's the word I'm looking for, and that will have a little knurled kind of edge, and we can just do it like that. And then we're going to go around this sort of football shape like that, and then start just about there, and then we're just going to draw this little thin line that kind of follows it around, and that's kind of like a seam around it, which sort of, you know, they kind of fold it over, and that kind of makes it all work. That's kind of a bit unstraight, but never mind. It gives it that antique look, doesn't it? And let's come around like that. This is another seam coming around there, so that kind of seals in the whole can. And then this pedestal is going to come down like that, and we'll have these ellipses again coming around, and these are really decoration. Actually, they probably serve a purpose to sort of strengthen it as well. And then we want another seam coming around there, down that a little bit, not as much as we do on the tank. And this paper's got a bit of texture to it, so it's kind of dragging the pen into places I maybe didn't really want it to go. Now, when you are absolutely sure that the ink is dry, then you can erase those pencil lines, but do make sure it's dry, because otherwise it's going to smudge the ink. And I use a hairdryer. So, well, I'm going to put a table edge in the back there, so that first of all I can think I'll have some, well, I'm not quite sure, I should have done that, but anyway, we're going to have some shadow around about there, so it's casting a shadow, and maybe a bit of shadow. Maybe this is made out of, the rest of it's made out of shiny brass, this bit's made out of kind of rusty old steel. And I think we can, let's put some more little dots in there, and a bit of, I'm putting all the shadows in all the wrong places, but never mind. Let's have some shadows that are coming down there like that. And then we can have a bit more sort of in there, and maybe there's going to be some, you might see the reflection of or something or other, sort of circular, like a, you know, the back of a chair or something like that's being reflected. I'm going to scribble that bit in there. I'm going to scribble a bit there, and scribble a bit there, and I'm going to scribble a bit there. And I'm scribbling to kind of give it that antique look, like it's an old drawing, I suppose, really. And I think here I can maybe put a bit of sort of shading in on this as well, like that. And maybe a bit of shading down there. And we're going to want a bit of sort of highlight on the glass, so we can just do something like that. And then maybe just a little bit of sort of shade coming up in there as well, because it gets quite smoky. We could have some. It gets quite smoky at the top of what do they call it? Chimney, don't they? Yeah. And somebody asked me yesterday, how do you know when a drawing is finished? Well, you just reach this point where you get the nagging feeling that if you do any more, you're going to ruin it. And I've got that nagging feeling now, so I'm going to say that's it. So, thanks for watching. Click down there, make sure you are subscribed to the Shoo Rayner Drawing channel, and keep coming back for lots more videos. And click that bell as well, make sure you ring the bell, and then you'll get notifications of when I post new videos, which is all the time. In the meantime, keep drawing, 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 practice, 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 and I'll see you next time. You take care now, bye bye.